helmets doesn't save him from this.
I've done all kinds of crashes, as you can imagine.
He says he's crashed more than a dozen times. Sometimes it's been pretty nasty.
One crash in particular where I was driving a stock car and I did end over ends on top of a cement wall, and every time the car came down on its roof, the roof came down on top of my head.
Nigel's head might need this. It looks like a regular helmet, but look at the bottom. It attaches to your body in a completely different way. Today, Chris Withnall at the Biokinetics Lab in Ottawa is testing the new helmet against one that's used in race cars now called the head and neck system, or HANS.
From the front, these two helmet systems look very similar. This is the traditional HANS, where the helmet is held to the shoulder complex with these two straps. With the integrated HANS, the iHANS, you can see that the shoulder complex is actually connected to the helmet as a one-piece unit.
So, will this be the racing helmet of the future? They're gonna pound this dummy from every angle to find out. They've already done sled tests to simulate what happens in a head-on collision. The G-forces are so great that for a brief instant, it's as though your head weighs more than a sumo wrestler. But both helmets do a decent job of protecting the driver in that frontal collision. It's a different story if parts of other cars fly into the driver's head, or if the car slams sideways into a wall. Here's a side impact with a traditional helmet. Look at the driver's neck. Now here's the same test using the prototype helmet. It would hurt, but the neck is better protected. If they're gonna prove that professional race car drivers should be wearing this, they're gonna need more than graphic videos. They're gonna need some data.
With the 9 accelerometers, we can see that in all directions that the head wants to move, as well as all directions that it wants to twist.
Sometimes the tests give them real surprises, like when the traditional HANS system gets hit head-on.
When the ram came in, it made contact with the chin bar first, caused the helmet to rotate downward. At this point, it's now bridged the forehead region of the helmet and the chin bar, and then it just simply continued pushing back.
The helmet doesn't take the brunt of the impact. Your head and neck do. Now they try out the same thing using the new iHANS helmet. It may get shredded, but the new helmet absorbs a lot more of the blow, protecting the head and neck. Maybe most importantly, they're testing something that's common and deadly in open-wheel race cars, getting hit on the top of the head. That happens when the car flips over or another car lands on top of the driver.
Firing!
Again, look what happens when the driver gets flipped on their head using the old HANS helmet. All the weight of their body and the car come down on the neck. And now, when the driver's hit on his head using the new helmet.
With our new prototype, we have full support of the helmet borne by the shoulder. So if something was to land on top of your head, it's not going to compress your neck. It's going to get transferred down to your shoulders, which are much stronger.
There's still a lot of work and testing to do, but so far, the new prototype is looking safer.
Everything is either equivalent to the status quo or in some cases has been better, which has been very encouraging for us.
Nigel Mortimer is the only person who's taken a test drive with it, and he's found the system has other benefits too. In open-wheel racing, the wind vibrates helmets so much, it makes it difficult for drivers to see. But because this prototype is carried by the shoulders and not the head, the driver's line of sight isn't as blurry.
I can see easily everything I need to see. No problem at all. Peripheral vision, looking for corner apexes, just awesome. Loving it.
All these benefits could lead to a huge competitive advantage for drivers.
By virtue of not having the vibration from the wind buffeting, by not having the fatigue from the extra weight on your head, by having better ventilation and cooling, all of these could make you a better driver.
Nigel's already convinced.
Okay, you guys are not getting this helmet back. I want this. Holy, this is awesome.